Hi and welcome to Microsoft Access tutorial of a web browser. This is my home page and I also have a button for home. Here that's a button that will search. If I decide to enter a URL there, let's enter London Met. Okay, just click on the search and there we go. We can use this arrow to navigate back to our previous home page. And one other thing about this website is if you double click here, that will take you straight to the ribbon. If you double click, will take you back to the way it used to be. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Access Development Environment and we put one of these together. So let's do that now, guys. Okay, let's start a new project. I'm going to click on this blank template and right there enter the name for my project. I'll just call it Web Browser, Web Browser 2, and let's click on create. There. Now I'm going to right click on this table right there and go to design, then save it as maybe browser. Save our table as browser, that's fine. Get rid of the primary key and just in there I'm going to enter txt URL and change this to short, the data type to short, and make sure when you come down here at the lookup you have the text box displayed in the display control. The next thing is to make sure you come to where we have default value and enter the URL, whatever URL you intend to use as your default value. That is it, and that's all there is to it. Close that. So I'm going to close that now. The next thing is to go to create right here and let's select form wizard. Click on the form wizard. And right in there we only have one field anyway, just click on that, click on next and just leave it as column. Next. Well, that name is good for me. Click on finish. There, that's your website ready now for development. So right click up here and go straight into design view. Inside your design view you can just increase the size of this so that you can increase the size of this. One thing I intend to do is move this object straight up here, and this very one here I'm going to delete that. I don't need that. And this label, just minimize it that much. Grab this, move it somewhere here. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is, you see right up here, that's the object for the web browser control. Click on the object for the web browser control and just draw. There. Now the system is asking you to enter a URL. That's the URL I intend to enter. Now you see where we have base URL, just click in there and click on OK. There we go. The system is ready, so even if you want you can run it right now. Let's go to right click and select form view, and there, it's ready already. Okay, now let's go back to design. In here I want to add a button. Click on a button, and the button I would like to add will be the next one. Click on next. Now I like to select the arrow, the next arrow, and give it a name, CMD next. Finish. Repeat the same thing for the other one. one for previous. Click on next. Okay, we need a picture for previous. Show all pictures, select that, and let's see if we can get one for previous. We want an arrow. Let's come up here. That will be left arrow. That's it. Click on next and change the name to CMD previous. Click on finish. Now we need one more. In fact, we need two more. The second one, the one here, is going to be to save. Okay, now click on next. I will not be selecting any of these because I intend to browse. Let's browse for my own image that I intend to use. I have one on my desktop, so let's call that. There we go. And click on next. Change the name to CMD search. Right there, that's the image. So the next thing I would like to do now is, let's come in here and just add another button. This button will be for my home. So let's look for, that will just be for the home, so I can always cancel that really, because I don't intend to use anything here for home. I'm just going to cancel that. Right click on it and select the property, or you can just make sure it's selected, and that's the property up there. And let's look for picture inside the properties, and the picture I'm looking for is home. Just press home, and right there we have the home. But one other thing is, I need to know the size. Let's copy that very size. I'm going to use that size for the home. I believe the home does not have a name, so let's give it a name, CMD home, and get rid of the caption in there. There we go. And the next thing we want to do is change the height and the width to 1.0, and the color of that very home, let's come in here, it should be 1 point. Right, that should do it. Yeah. Now the color of this very home, I'm going to change the color of all the buttons to white. Let's select it all and come into back color. Let's change the back color to white. There we go. And you see this, my search object there. I want to change the color, the border color. Let's see the border style first. Okay, we can make that. No, let's leave the border style totally. The border color, there we go. Let's change that to, yep. Okay, it's a little bit similar to that, but I didn't intend to increase the border width. Let's make that 2. Yeah, that's fine. Now the font size, we will make that 14. There. Okay, now that all of the design is taken care of, we need to reduce the size of these as well. Back to the property, let's go to height and just change that to the same thing with all of the buttons. Okay, now select this very button, and where we have design, arrange and format, click on that very ribbon there. Now select convert to macro, convert form from macro to VB, to Visual Basic. Select that. If you intend to retain all of the comments, just leave this checked, or you can uncheck it. Click on convert, conversion finish. Now go to view codes. Right there, those are all the macro codes. So the codes are generated for you, but we have to make some few amendment to it. Okay, right underneath option explicit, I'm going to declare the following variable: dim IURL as string, dim browse, let's say, okay, let's just call it browser, as web browser. There. Now I will now come straight inside my next button. Okay, inside the next button, what I intend to do is, you see this right underneath do command.go to record. I'm going to delete all of this. I don't need it, just delete it. So what I intend to do there is, I'm going to enter as follows: IURL, let's say equals txt URL dot value, right there. Then ask the system to set the browser, set browser equals, now we need to know the name of my browser. It's meant to be dot. Okay, that's not the name of my browser. So let's come back into the design. We need to know the name of this browser. So let's write, okay, select the property. It's called browser 3. So copy all of that. That's how important it is. You must know the name of your browser. So let's right click and go back to the, alright, change that to browser 3 dot object. Now that that is taken care of for the next one, so the next thing we want to do is to prevent any error. I'm going to say browser dot silent whatever error that might be generated. Click on true. Now browser dot navigate IURL. Okay, now that all of that is taken care of, because this is meant to be to go to next, I can also add browser, just this one, browser dot go. Now we go back. There, that is that taken care of. Okay, note these 5 lines of codes is added to my macro, to the codes that were generated. I'm going to copy all of those codes and now come straight down here where we have the previous. I'll repeat exactly the same thing. Delete that, paste that inside previous, and come into the browser.go and change that to go forward. There, that is done. Okay, so I've taken care of 2 buttons. So if I come back in here, I've taken care of button 1 and 2. So let's delete. I think I saw the name there. Get rid of that and delete the name in here as well. Okay, let's come into this search button here, this very one. Right click and let's select build event. Inside the build event of that very one, that's it here, I'm going to delete all of that. The lines of code that were copied earlier on, I'm going to paste that right in there. Okay, and now I will then change because I want you to save. Okay, that's fine. Move this. Just maybe undo what I've just done and paste this in here, right there. Then get rid of this, go back. Right. So what I want the system to do is whatever I have inside my URL text box, the system will navigate to that very URL and save that URL straight onto my table. That's what is happening in here. So that's what these lines of codes is meant to do. So that is the search taken care of. So have a look at the lines of codes as well. Now let's take care of home. As for the home, come in here. That's the home. Right click and select build event, code builder, and right inside the home paste as follows. But inside the home, I'm going to have to change one or two things because I want it to go straight in the home. First of all, get rid of this, delete this, and then change this to http www.google.com. That's my home page. Now I also want this very URL to appear inside my text box anytime I click on it. So I'm going to come in here, say txt URL equals there. That's it. That's taken care of as well. So we're almost there now. Okay, now that all of that is taken care of, before I run this program, okay, let's just run it and see. That's my program there, but the thing is I haven't resized this. I'm going to resize it now, but first thing first, let's try it out. Let's go to Middlesex University and see how that works. Click on search. Let's see. There we go. It's working how we expect it to work. So right click and go back to design view. So in here, select the browser, come into the width of the browser. I'm going to change that to 36 and the height will be changed to 30. So that is fine. Now let's right click on the form header here. Right click on the header and select build event. Inside the form header, that's the form header right there. I want to enter as follows so that the ribbon can be, we can be able to control the ribbon. So let's say do command dot show tab. Okay, the tab I would like you to show is going to be the ribbon, comma, let's make it yes. So when I click on it, it will show it. So let's copy this and make sure your cursor, your mouse, is still remain inside this procedural area. Come into this method here or this procedure, drop it down and let's select double click. Inside the double click, right inside of double click, we enter the same lines of code, but this time around change that to no. So AC toolbar no. There. Okay, now for the form load, let's go back in here. This is the form right in here. Okay, so right click somewhere where you can get hold of the form. Okay, that is okay. Now it's called details. Well, drop this down and select form. That's it, form load. Paste that same line right inside the form load. Change this to no, so when the system load, all the ribbons will disappear. And that's all there is to it. No ribbon, you click on it, show ribbon. If you double click on the header, ribbon will disappear as well. Okay, you need those 3 lines of codes as well. Now in here we have the search. Take a good look at it. Then you also need the previous, next you need that as well, and finally you need the home, and you need those 2 variables. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to now run my program and you guys see how it works. So let's come back inside my system here, just right click. There we go, guys. This is how the program look like. If I change this to londonmet.ac.uk, there, click on browse. There we go, University of London Metropolitan University shown. And let's see if we can show some other institution. Let's go to cwc.ac.uk, City of Westminster College. Click on browse. There we go, guys. And if we want to go home, we can go home as well. And one good thing about this whole system is all the area visited are all stored right inside the table. Look at it, it's stored right inside the table. Okay, and there we can always browse back, or let's go straight into my YouTube channel, DJ Omen. Click on browse and you come straight into the search engine, select DJ Omen, and let's select videos. Right in there, those are all my videos. I have 1,229 videos. So with this very one, that will make it 1,230. So with that, guys, I'm gonna call it the end of this beautiful tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. You all have a nice day now. Bye for now.